Hello?
Hey, man. How's it going? One sec here, one sec. We are live. We are live to 3 people. 3 of the homies are watching on Twitch right now. You're not actually on camera yet. Here, let me get us both on camera. All right, there we go. So now we're both on camera. Live to the peoples on Twitch. Just to start things off clean, man. I'll give a quick little intro, tell people what they're watching and stuff like that. But you know, big ups for coming through. I appreciate you for spending your time to do this, dude. Yeah, dude. So this is After the Smoke is Clear. It's a spin-off. No, sorry. This is not After the Smoke is Clear. This is a spin-off of After the Smoke is Clear, where I've been interviewing artists from across the country for a series that I call Fly in Formation. All of the interviews are up on Twitch or YouTube once they're done. But today joining me here is Edmonton-based MC Tariiiq. I've been playing Tariiq's music for years now on Atzik. We got a chance to very briefly meet and slap hands out at North Country Fair last week. So that was dope. But yeah, you know, I think it's about time that I let you say something. So thanks for coming through, man. Happy to have you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That was fun. North Country Fair. You were in the clouds, hey?
Dude, yeah, I was gone. I was on one. But you know, that's the way it's supposed to be at the fair, though, right? That's yeah. Well,
real, man.
And dude, it was.
To be honest, I ate some shrooms on Friday, and I had such a great time, and I was just like, man, like, I just had this like overwhelming appreciation and like just enjoyment of everything. And then the next day, which was the day I was playing, I was like, man, I want to be back in that mindset. And in my mind, I was thinking like I'd be like this like freaking public figure, like, hello everybody. But yeah, I ate a bit of shrooms. I got way more high than I thought I would, and I had a 3 p.m. set.
Yeah.
And I forgot like how hectic it is before a set, especially with a band. Like our drummer drove in at like 1 p.m. to the fair to play at 3, and like shit was missing, and so I like was like low key having a bad trip. And then I get on stage and like, oh my god, dude, it was I'm not gonna lie, like I think I really nailed it at the read, but that first set was a ride, man.
Was
like,
the first one at the Reed stage too, or where'd you play the first one?
The first one was at the Firefly.
Okay.
It was a bit of a ride, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
had you
a combination of things.
Had
like,
you ever been up on stage on mushrooms before? Because when you told me that the other day, I was like, that sounds like a terrifying prospect to jump up on stage. And
not on shrooms. No, I did on acid once, and it was awesome, but not on shrooms. But it was like, I think it could have been well, but it was just too hectic. Like the band, people were kind of off, right? Like my drummer hadn't settled in and he just showed up. Yeah. Like guitar player was a little off, like forgetting stuff. So like I'm rapping and I'm doing my thing like fully on autopilot, but I have like a separate, like I thought by the time I perform, it would just like override the trip, but like the trip was still happening and my rapping was like an autopilot thing. Like I don't know how I did it, but like there was one part of my conscious rapping my lyrics, and then like another that was like having an intense shroom trip the whole time.
Nice.
It wasn't like, it was crazy.
A little bit out of body or whatever, just muscle memory relying on
like, a couple of the homies that like know me and see perform, they're like, yeah, you seem like in your head. I'm like, dude, I wasn't even like in reality when I was spitting those bars. Like
that's why I wouldn't want to try to perform on mushrooms, man. Sometimes you get too in your head off of those things.
Yeah, it was a bit of an experiment. Still a good show though. I mean, some people said that was their favorite set of the weekend, and I was like, please come to the 1 a.m. one then, because I promise you it'll be better.
Dope, man. Yeah, from what I heard of it, like I caught the last, I think, 2 or 3 tracks as we walked up. We scheduling error there. We were over at a different stage trying to find you, and then we like stood there watching Cat Clyde or something like that, who was like a dope performer or whatever. I was happy to see her perform, but we kept thinking like she was going to wrap it up and then you were going to come on, and they must be running 15 minutes late. Maybe they're running a half hour late. And then like she's wrapping up her set and we're like, well, fuck, I guess the scheduling's all off. And we walked over and it was like, oh, he's on Reed stage, not Shady Grove. But shit happens, man. Shit happens. I appreciate you sending over the link for that. I haven't got a chance to watch it just yet, but I will for sure. Yeah, dude.
Well, man, I performed this past weekend in Edmonton, and I didn't think I could one up that Reed one, but we did, dude. That performance on Saturday or Friday
Yeah,
was like magical,
that was the one
and
for
that
Jazz
actually was
Fest, right?
professionally, yeah, and that was professionally recorded internally, like audio, and there was like a cameraman the whole time.
Oh,
So
dope,
I'll
man.
probably get that clip eventually, but that was, I think, because I had that, I was just riding that high from the fair, like, and I just came in like so excited and ready to perform. And
Yeah, man. Have you played many festivals before?
not with a band like this. I used to DJ. Well, I still kind of do, but like I was pretty big in like the bass music, like electronic scene. So I did a couple festivals where I used to like DJ, and then I would like spin in beats and I'd start rapping over them, like
Yeah.
even like grime beats and like electronic sounding beats. And then I would like it was kind of like a live show like that. So I did a couple small festivals like that, but North Country is definitely like the biggest and most, like, to be honest, the festivals I have played, I kind of played my set and then just chilled. Like, whereas this was like the first one that I was like, I would come to this as an attendee. So
Yeah, man. I've
it was
been
pretty
going to
dope,
that.
man. I got paid to like go somewhere that I probably would have went regardless. Now that I know what it's like.
Dude,
So
I've been going to North Country Fair for like 10 years, and you were legit the first act that I've like really wanted to see, like whose music I actually fuck with like that. Like there's been other people who, you know, I've stopped through and like seen K-Rez's set, and like him and his band put on a great show a couple years back or whatever, and like Relic with his band, you know, shouts to those guys or whatever. But like I was really looking forward. It really bummed me out when we missed your set over the weekend there, dude. So apologies for that, but I'm glad you had a great time out there. And
yeah,
yeah, man, the energy
hopefully
is
I'll be
just
back,
perfect
man.
out there, man. It's beautiful out there. I'll definitely do what I can to put in a word and see if we can get you back
Yeah,
there or
man.
whatever, because I know some of the
Round two,
people that book
and get
shit.
us at Shady next time. So
Yeah,
because
man.
and we need a bigger stage. The Reed was sick, but like it was
Small.
pretty tight up there, man. Like
Yeah.
I was like on the floor pretty much,
Yeah.
like in the grass.
Jump
Yeah.
down into the crowd and let the band have the stage.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
man.
crazy. Well, like I was like doing my thing, like, and I like whacked my bass player guitar, and made this like boom noise. And I'm like, oh shit.
Whoops. Yeah. So how long have you been playing with the Golden Eyes? Like I feel like I've seen them on your social media for a while now. Like last year you were playing with them, right?
I think it's yeah, the first gig was March last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they come together kind of like specifically to play as your band, or were they running around doing gigs prior to that?
Oh, dude, it was well. They're all like they're all staple musicians in Edmonton,
Yeah,
man.
right.
To be
Like
honest,
I recognize a couple of
they're
them
all
or
in
whatever
they're
from
all
other
in multiple
bands.
bands, but
Yeah.
it kind of just randomly happened. Like I went to this jam, in the basement of the Starlight, River City Revival,
Yeah.
and I just got up and freestyled, and it was dope. Like it went really well, and then I just kind of got acquainted with a few of them, and the guitar player Paul is also like a producer, so me and him would just hang out and like work on beats and stuff. And then I had the idea of doing like a live, kind of like a bit of like a tiny desk, but like I wanted to do like a live version of Make a Sound. Once when it hit 100,000 on
Yeah.
Spotify, I was like, I want to do something for it, right?
Nice.
And that was the original idea. It was like I wanted to form a band to play that song. And then it was this guy Scott, who was the guy who organized that jam that I freestyled at, was like, man, like you need to like do a set with a band. So then I like kind of gathered them up, the guys that I met at the jam, and I was like, yo, let's like prepare a set. And then we got booked for like a headlining act at the Starlight. So we did that, and then did a few more shows, and then I don't know, man. It just went from like it would just kept gradually. It was like, oh, just a song, okay, just a set, and then now it's like tour,
Yeah.
like it's becoming like a thing, and I
Do
don't
it.
even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it would, if would I would feel naked performing without them, you know?
Word, man.
Like I can still hold it down, but I feel like it's opened my eyes to like another level of performance. Like when I would do my own things, it was all about my lyrics, right? And my bars. I play the beat and I perform my songs as they are.
Yeah.
With the band, it's like
can improvise a bit more.
There's a bridge, there's a solo, there's like a slow part, there's like I jump in the crowd and hype them up, and then I freestyle, and then like it's like one song can be like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I want to find a way when I'm not performing with the band, like even pre-make something in Ableton or something where it includes that, because that's where the magic of it is. Like I'm rapping verse one, I'm rapping the hook, I'm rapping verse two, hook, and then like a solo, then like a double time section, and then I freestyle in the crowd, and then the beat chills out, and then I do my third verse almost a cappella, and then one more solo. Like, and it just when I taper off to have a drink of water, the energy doesn't go down, it goes up. Because
Yeah.
then they just start playing. Like
Hell yeah,
it's
man.
beautiful, man.
Live
Yeah.
instrumentation is so powerful, dude. Like from the outside looking in, just at different MCs over the years who have got bands, it's always looked like, you know, that opens a lot of doors for them because of the added presence on stage, right? You start getting kind of offered some bigger gigs that'll only book people with bands, like North Country Fair being one
Like
of them.
North Country,
Really,
even Jazz Fest. Like a lot of the shit I'm playing is like, and it's, it goes both ways, because in one hand it is opening me up to a lot of different gigs that I probably wouldn't get on my own.
yeah,
But on the other, like I'm not to say it's a con, but like I'm also being inserted into like a scene where I am representing hip hop, or like showcasing hip hop rather than just going into a hip hop crowd, which
okay,
has its pros and cons. Because the pro is I'm exposing myself to a completely new audience,
yeah,
and the hip hop community still knows who I am. But yeah, sometimes it's like
man,
you're kind of like
that's interesting because North Country Fair is not used to hearing people bar up on stage like you would,
yeah,
you know?
especially my style.
Yeah,
Like you said, Chris and like Arlo and stuff that played there, they're a little more like gentle with it, and like
yeah.
it's more holistic. Like I am, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, why are you guys like? I even think sometimes I'm like, do you guys like? Are you aware of what I do? Because like I lay it down, and I'm although with the band and with my musicality, it's pretty diverse. Like ultimately, I feel like I'm a pretty underground artist. Like I spit bars, technical.
That's exactly it, man. That's
Yeah,
why I play you on Atsick all the time because you know, you do have a lot of lyrical integrity, which is like what I look for in hip hop music, you know. So yeah, it was refreshing for me to see that North Country Fair was expanding to put people like you on the bill. And you know, whether having that band with you kind of was what got you in the door or not, one way or the other, it's good to see you there, man. Dude, I've been wondering though, like, what does the writing process look like with that band? Like, do you guys jam shit out, or are you kind of writing to beats and then taking lyrics and putting them over top of their instrumentals? Or
like that love letter tune,
yeah,
that was like written and produced with the group. So all the instruments are live in that one except for like the drums. But aside from that, it's more like we're playing my existing songs, but we're just making them like more, like we're keeping the fundamental chords and structure of the beat, but like adding a lot more
just
to it.
fleshing it out more with bridges and, like you
Like
were
it
saying,
starts
different
to
parts.
not sound like the song as much, in a good way, I think. Not
Word,
just
man.
bridges, but it's like we're adding horn lines to make a sound that doesn't have horns in it, and all of
Yeah,
a sudden the horns are playing the main melody, and it's like there was never horns in it, and then the guitar is playing something that isn't even in the song. So,
yeah,
but I think if I wanted to get into writing and releasing with them, which I think would be sick, I think the move would be getting a grant, like one of those big grants,
yeah.
because that's that's a lot of people
That's the thing.
to
It
hire effort.
costs a lot to get everybody in the studio when you got that many people.
And I just feel like I've applied for the smaller grants and been successful, but there's those big ones where it's like I don't even know how I could spend 60 grand on an album. But
You'd figure it out,
if
man.
you if I could make it completely from live instruments from scratch, like I would utilize that money well. And it would also, I think I would feel better getting a grant like that,
Yeah,
because I'm not just getting all that money for myself. It's like supporting all these. It's like it would be more for them. Like a lot of these guys, like that's their living is playing music, and
hell yeah.
they're doing stuff for me for way less than minimum wage. You know what I mean? Like it's for the love. So for
Yeah,
me to
man.
think about getting a grant and like paying them for their time and also making sick tracks, I just think it would it'd be awesome for everyone.
I think so too, man. I think you guys deserve that. If the Canadian music scene is listening, they should definitely be throwing grants your way. Yeah, because live music, hip hop isn't going to get much better than what you guys are doing. I don't think.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I've
man,
really
for
made an
real.
effort to not make it like a front man with a background band. Like I try to make it, I really work to like make it a band show.
Yeah.
Because I have seen like rapper with band. It's not quite the same. Like I want it to be like I'm the lead singer of this band, not like they're just playing a beat.
Do you get anybody else doing vocals? Is anybody else mic'd up when they're up there? Like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sing choruses and shit, or just
Yeah, a
hype or
few of the
whatever?
guys in the band, and then in Jazz Fest, this guy Nigel came up and sang with me, and it was incredible, man.
Dope, man.
The voice of an angel. But yeah, yeah, for ad libs, for like gang vocals, and then for some of the choruses, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's at least 2, 3 mics aside from me.
Nice, man.
That
So
helps. That helps a lot.
so most of your music that's like on streaming right now isn't with the band, right? Like you do have some out on streaming that is with the band, but a lot of your stuff is you and a beat, right?
Like, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Aside
Okay.
from one song, yeah.
Weird. So can I ask, like, where do you normally find beats from? Are you normally working with producers you know, or kind of hunting around for stuff online?
It's a mix. I would say mostly there's like a select few that I found online that I've like kind of built a bit of relationship with, but I'm mostly buying their beats.
Word.
A few I did myself or with someone, and then a couple like I haven't done much to be quite honest, like where like the traditional sense where I go in a studio and a producer makes me a beat.
Yeah.
Like I've either copped the beat or like produced slash co-produced it.
Man,
But
I
or I'll
think
buy the stems and then
right.
I'll like not mess with it myself. But I would like to try that more. But now that I've like have some more production skills under my belt, like I think co-producing would be the move for me
Hell yeah, man.
with someone with people more than one person. Yeah.
Word, man. So do you record like your own vocals at home? Like you
Yeah.
always have new music coming out, so I would guess you got a mic and booth or whatever
Yeah,
set
it's
up at home.
all at home, man.
Yeah.
Anything
Okay.
like anything recent, like since my first few releases have all has all been at home.
Nice. So do you do the mix and master yourself then too, or are you sending that off to somebody? Because it all sounds nice, dude.
Yeah, I have like for a few or like a few that I want to do, but most of the time it's either my homie Jake from Night Vision Studios, MVMA Studios,
Yeah.
and I'll do the pre-mix. So like I'll like comp it, arrange it, put my effects, put my notes, but like there's a certain polish, especially with mastering. Like I'm not gonna touch mastering.
Yeah.
But with him, it's like I'm gonna send him a thing anyways, and it's already pre-mixed, so he just adds his little flavor and masters it together, and it's a good working relationship, good deal. At this point, like we've done so many tracks together. Like when we first started, there'd be like 8 or 9 revisions. Now it's like he just kind of knows my sound, and it's pretty quick. And
Hell yeah.
I'm a busy dude as well, so I gotta
Dude,
offload some stuff.
I get the impression you come at this from like a pretty genuine, just kind of artistry for the sake of making art standpoint. But I like to ask people, like, how important is it to you that people are connecting with your music? Does it matter a bunch to you how successful any of the music that you put out is, or yeah, where are you at on that one, man?
Yeah. Well, here's how okay, like yes, but it wouldn't deter me from making music if that wasn't the case.
Word.
Like it definitely is, and it is definitely a huge goal to like have a following and have it not even for money, but the more for the opportunity, like having a following so I can be more creative in the way that I release and promote music and more creative with my storytelling and like experimentation. Because like as a up and coming artist, like you can't promote your stuff the same way that an established artist does because you just get overlooked. Like you kind of have to be like, hey, here's my song. Like, please pay attention.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I just for me touring, I really just want to play everywhere and anywhere. Like live shows, big crowds, festivals, like all that shit, man. That is my goal.
Hell yeah.
Money-wise, that would be nice, but I don't think about the money too much because there's better ways to make money than music, straight up.
Totally, man. I say that shit all the time.
Like if my goal was money, I just wouldn't make music. So it's like music is I'm sacrificing income to do it because
yeah.
I own a company. I do home renos. If I just like dedicated my life to that, I'd probably be pretty wealthy. But like I am not because I spend so much time on my music and I purposefully limit
Hell yeah, man.
my size of my
Being
company.
an independent artist is like a black hole for money. You just pour more and more money into it. Yeah.
I also believe in different types of currency, man. There's monetary currency, but there's like social currency of
Hell yeah.
like your impact on people. There's like
respect from
if
your
I
peers,
feel
man.
that feeling I had at the North Country Fair, that feeling to me is worth money.
Word.
You know, like
yeah, totally, man.
But yeah, it is important, and I am fucking grinding for that too.
Hell yeah.
But I maybe I'm a little humble. Maybe I'm a little like too for the love because I do know that like I don't know, man. I feel like you have to have a bit of an ego because there's a point where like if you're trying to be famous, you have to act like a celebrity a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just not about it. But
man, nobody without an ego is getting on stage and yelling into a microphone for an hour. That's you know what it that's just not something that happens, right? Like rap is very ego driven. There's a lot of I statements in rap, you know. It's all personal expression or whatever. Dude, this is something I ask people all the time. That's a tough one. It's a bit of a head scratcher for some people, but do you have more fun on stage or in the studio? Or not necessarily fun, but do you get more fulfillment from being on stage or from actually making the track in the studio? Because I think there's a couple schools of thought on that one.
That's a really good question. I don't know. It's like one plays into the other. Like when I'm in the studio, well, the studio is labor sometimes. Like it's not always fun. Sometimes it's actually like it's like going to the gym where you're like, oh man, I got to do this. But when things are flowing, like when I'm finished the writing and I'm starting to make it flow and it starts flowing, or like while I'm recording, it is an incredible feeling. Like it just feels like I have I've like I don't know, the feeling of creating, it's like a tradesman doing his last screw of his project and it's just like
right? Yeah.
it's done.
Hell yeah.
Performing, I feel is it almost in a way I learn about my own song more because I put it into context. I'm like, now I am like announcing this. And sometimes I perform songs and I'm like, this part drags out for a while, or like, ooh, this part specifically really hits. I might go back and tweak it.
Right.
So I don't know. I would say I have more fun live, but that like deep personal fulfillment where I'm like, man, I could really like go somewhere with this is usually in the studio.
Well, I think you said it already, but you know, I get the impression you'd still be writing bars whether anybody was listening or not, right? Like, I think a lot of MCs, even if they were the last person on earth, they'd walk around freestyling to themselves. You know, it takes a certain type of passion and drive to just love the actual music too, right? To keep people making this music.
I just think of like, I know the times have changed with like how people be successful in the industry, but when I think about not the artists that I see that are popping, I think about who do I actually listen to, and like almost all the artists I listen to, it took them a long time to get there. They released a bunch of projects, and they have a small but super diehard fan base.
Word.
And they don't really promote that much, especially not short form content.
Hell yeah! What type of hip hop do you listen to most?
I like my old school shit.
Yeah.
I like my Mos Def. I like Biggie. I like Wu-Tang, but for hip hop, I like Mick Jenkins for new school.
Word.
I fuck with Mick Jenkins. I fuck with like pro era Flatbush Zombies, Joey Badass. Like that's what I like grew up on in high school.
Yeah. I can hear that influence for sure.
I like a lot of alternative, like Saba, Smino, um, JID, Kendrick.
Nice, man.
But honestly, I don't even listen to that much rap these days, man.
Have you been listening
To
to
be
stuff
quite honest,
outside the genre? You've been listening to other music lately?
I have a weird thing with music where sometimes I just don't listen to music for a while, and it's not very good. But I'm like, music is so sacred that sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to music unless I'm like fully attentive,
Yeah.
and then I like go into like a deep rabbit hole of like listening to music. But lately, I've been listening to a lot of like jazz and soul and like stuff that I can sample.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah.
um, a lot of reggae. I still like electronic music, and like I've actually recently been listening to like um a lot of like kind of emo-y, metal-y, like singery rock stuff, like Stone Sour and shit like that. And honestly, it's giving me a lot of inspiration of how I can sing in my rap
Word.
because like I sing a little bit in my songs, and I think it's cool, but it's more like a chill kind of like vibey neo soul type singing.
Yeah.
But my voice, like the way that my voice is, like I could sing like really raspy and really like passionately. And I think that there's a way for me to do that in hip hop,
Nice,
and it
man.
would sound really cool.
Yeah,
So
I look forward to hearing you try, man. I look
yeah,
forward to
I
hearing
kind of
the
like listen to
experimenting.
other genres and then like bring it into my hip hop. Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, that's what hip hop is, right from the jump, right?
exactly,
Is a mix
exactly.
of all these other genres, so it makes total sense. It's just different artists tell me different things when I ask them, like, "What have you been listening to lately?" Because some guys, listen to a ton of music, and some, like you said, don't listen to any for long stretches of time, or like if they're creating, they'll say they're not listening to anything or whatever. But yeah, I always find it interesting to hear what people are taking in to fuel their output. Um,
Mm.
yeah, man. You talked a little bit about how like you're real busy recently and how you've got to cut shit out. I always ask everybody about just kind of the balance between like work and art, like the work life balance, because it's super tough for independent artists who are trying to pay the bills, but are also trying to make music. And like you said, like music doesn't make money for many people at all across the country. So like, do you got any tips for people? Like, just keep a day job. Is that basically that's the play right now for an independent artist?
Um, I feel like I'm a very rational person. So for myself, yes, like I do spend a lot of time on that front, like with my company and stuff. But I also am self-employed, so I work a lot, but I can also control my schedule.
Right.
So I kind of just like when I don't have a show coming up or like I'm not feeling super creative or I have made a lot of stuff and I want to take some time to like, okay, what's the next project? I go hard on the work stuff. And then like this last 2, 3 weeks, like I worked like 60, 70 hours a week leading up to it so that I would just be Tariiq the artist primarily this last few weeks. So I kind of like I do a hard pan between the two.
Right.
I think that's the right move. I think it's like hack away at it until the one thing becomes too busy for the other. And then like instead of like I'm gonna quit my job, I'm gonna quit everything, like move to a different country, like blah blah blah. Like if your time is here for work and your time is here for music and this shit starts popping more, just do this
Yeah.
until it becomes that's how I look at it. But I also feel like there is a you can be comfortable like that and then you might not be pushing yourself as much as you can. Whereas some of the people who were desperate and had no choice are the ones that blew up. So I would never deter someone from doing that because I respect that. Maybe for me, I don't want to, I don't feel like I need to go to that extent, but
Yeah.
big up to the people who do.
Oh yeah,
But
man.
I don't know. I also feel like if you suck, truly, like you gotta have good friends. I don't know.
You gotta have people
Nobody
who
has
will tell you if you suck. Yeah.
like nobody has told me yet. I don't think that you should pursue this anymore. Like you don't got it.
Do you
Some
think that?
people have
Do you
said
think
like,
anybody ever does get told that though? I don't know if anybody ever gets told that. I mean, it makes sense you haven't been told that, but um, you
I don't
know,
know, man.
I've never been told that, and fucking nobody listens to my music, man. I think there's a lot of artists out there who it's tough to find people
I
who
think
will
more
tell you
people
that,
should
man.
be saying that. Fuck, more people should be saying that.
Yeah, we need less rappers.
But yeah, I guess advice would just be like treat it as interchangeable. If you make more money, you have more play to make your shit more professional, get more visuals,
Yeah,
and you can trade your money for time. Let's say you grinded for a year in the rigs and made like you saved 25 G's. Okay, now you can if you let's just say you decide to take 6 months off and just make music and you really committed yourself to that. Like that 6 months is probably more productive than some evening music hobbyist in 3 years,
yeah, likely.
you know?
Yeah, totally,
So
man.
like
And I've definitely seen
if
guys
you
do that. They come back with the Mercules feature real quick, and you're like, "Who is this guy? How did he?" Yeah, yeah.
That's a
Uh,
whole thing too, is features, man. I haven't really done that and I never know when the right time is for me to do that. But I tend to just finish my tracks usually.
dude, you and
Or like
Self did a couple tracks there a while back. That was a great
those were
collaboration.
fucking awesome. I
Yeah,
would love to work with Self again, yeah.
yeah. He's dope as fuck, man. That
But
dude's
yeah,
been
I meant
holding it
like
down a long time.
bigger artists, like
Yeah,
paying like what's because some people, like you said, they'll do that Mercules thing when they're not really anyone.
yeah,
And to me, that's a bit of a money dump. But then there's some people who do a feature and it is what catapults them.
yeah, for sure.
So that's a whole thing too that I know Mick Jenkins does a lot of features.
I
I've
mean,
seen.
dude, something that I've been noticing, like with Atzik, is that there's a handful of superheroes from every community across the country, and they're all people who are super dope, like you or Self or like whatever guys who might not be internationally known or even nationally known, but who probably deserve to be and are talented enough to be. And I think like those are the collaborations that make sense for artists at an independent level
Mm,
still, right? um
I hear you, man. I hear you.
it might not get your name into as many new ears as like buying the Mick Jenkins feature or whatever, but it's also not going to cost nearly as much. And I think there's something to be said for linking up kind of fan bases who are people who actually really enjoy rap, you know what I mean?
So true, man. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, man. So
There's also something to be said about like the transaction versus like you two are both invested in the success of the song.
yeah,
It's a big thing too, man.
multiple people
It's a big
promoting
thing.
it or whatever on their social media.
And I think the
Yeah,
audience can tell when it's like people like to see that. Like that collab with Self actually did pretty well, not just on streaming, but like word of mouth. Like people are just
yeah,
like that. People like to see it, like
hell yeah, man.
two similar style artists, like one up and comer, one kind of like OG. And that song is sick, man. I love playing that tune. I
Yeah,
did it
man.
with him live once, but I want to bring him up with the Golden Eyes one time. That'd be so sick,
Oh,
man.
that would be dope. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so like I know that you use a lot of social media. You're constantly grinding and pushing content over there. It's important in 2023 to do that. Um, do you hate doing it? A lot of artists hate social media. A lot of people I'm talking to are just like, "Ugh, I wish that someone else would do it for me," or whatever. Like, um, it's not a lot of people's
I
favorite
actually
thing.
like it. I like promoting on my socials, but one thing I don't do, and I'm just like I can't I don't want to do it, but I should, is the outreach. Like I actually really like posting on socials for my following.
Yeah,
Like I'm like because to me it's creative. Like when I cut up a sweet clip, write the caption, post it, that's all part of the creativity. And like
yeah,
the promotion of the project is part of the project. So I look at it, and I think that's an advice to artists too. If you treat it like part of your art, you're gonna enjoy it more.
yeah, hell yeah,
Um, but the part that I find really like, and I respect artists who do it, is the like DMing those hip hop promoting pages or bigger artists to put you on and like the I would be my own social media manager, but if I could hire one thing in that realm is like if I had a publicist
Word.
that did all that shit. Like pitched myself to all the festivals and like hip hop pages and bigger artists and management. Like I don't do any of that.
That's the type of shit you can do with the $60,000 grant, though. You pay somebody to do that shit for you, man.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, dude. Um, do you? This is just a real general question, but for other lyricists out there, man, you got any tips for writing? Like, do you ever hit writer's block? That's a popular question that I like asking people. Like, uh, how do you stay inspired? How do you keep finding new stuff to write about?
Well, I freestyle. I freestyle everything and then I record the freestyles and then I comp the best parts and then I like rewrite any like weird words or like I make the meaning after.
Yeah,
So I never have writer's block with flow or the delivery of it. Sometimes I guess my freestyling will be a little redundant. Sometimes I'm just super on point.
yeah, but you can go back
But
and edit, right?
yeah, but
Yeah,
I feel um you have to like you have to harness the mood that you're in. Like when some bad shit happens in your life, write about it. When you're like feeling good, that's the time to do some like more flexing, like fun bars. Um, but yeah, like I freestyle and then I make sense of it later. I don't just sit there with the pen and be like, what am I gonna write about today? Because then it's like overwhelming. I'm
right.
like, get the flow down, get the groove down, and make it make sense at
Hell,
another time.
hell yeah, man. So I guess we
That's
should
how I do it.
we should talk about your most recent project too here, dude. Like I didn't actually mention it, but you dropped I don't know, a couple months ago, Love Letter to Whoever, right? That was just a little 3-track EP, but um man, I think I might have played all three of those tracks on different at six. I definitely played two of them. But Boom Bap Vibe for the Soul, that's my jam right there, man.
That's a good tune, hey, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So fun live, dude. So fun live.
Have you been like are you kind of building up to a full length project? Are you happy dropping singles forever kind of, or like singles and EPs and piece by piecing it, or what's next, man? Where are you going?
It's album mode, dude. No, I am doing projects now. I'm doing like minimum 7-track projects. I have one finished, except for like a couple interludes that I want to produce.
Yeah,
Then I have another one that's like halfway done,
dope.
and that's my move now. Basically, I'm gonna make projects with themes and compile my songs in those projects, and whatever just doesn't fit, that's what I'll do as singles, like just some banger trap song or some of these summary ones, like to me, like the Think About You, that and like Love Letter, like to me, those are a little out of my style. And there was like a little phase I had. And actually that You track,
Yeah,
I sat on it for like 3 years because it's like pretty poppy tune. I'm like, where does this fit? But when I had those three other tracks, I'm like, here's a little like era of my writing. Like take it in.
nice, man.
Whereas my projects, I want to be more like statements. So pretty soon here, I'm going to be announcing. It was supposed to be an EP, but like I think it's an album, man. I'm like scared to say that. Maybe I'll call it a mixtape because I didn't like. I want to call something an album when I produced it all myself or like had had a say in all the production. Like if I
Okay,
like lease beats or cop beats, I still feel like it's in the mixtape territory. But it's a full length project, and it is. I've always wanted to make that be like my core sound and then branch from there. So this is like it's gonna be sample heavy bars. Like think like Alchemist, think like that type of era, and it's gonna be dope. And it's
dope,
called
man.
Spitomology.
Sorry, say that again. You kind of cut out.
It's called Spitomology.
Spitomology. Okay, is that
Yeah.
that's the SoundCloud? That's the name of the SoundCloud
Yeah,
playlist
that's
you
just like a
sent over.
playlist I have of what I finished so far. But
Dope,
you
man.
know that name? I said it in my track, and I was just showing my buddy, and he's like, "What'd you say this, man? Well, that's pretty cool." I'm like, "Yeah, man, like blah blah blah." But I had assumed that that was like a term that has been used because I'm like, I feel like someone like Pat Poos or like Rascash or something would have said some shit like
Yeah.
that.
Papoose
Well, I
probably
spent
has a song called
30 minutes.
Spitology where he says every word in the English language or something. Yeah, word, man.
No, that or yeah, or alphabet. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that one is alphabetical
It
slaughter, isn't
was,
it?
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
There's
talking
no
about.
etymology, bro. I searched and searched.
Dope,
So I'm
man.
like, yo, how is this not a used term? So I'm like, this is it. This is it. And it makes sense for the tune or for the album, sorry. It's just bare bones, it's raw, and it's rootsy, and it's just like this is my foundation.
Nice.
And everything from this project will branch off that, you know?
Word, man. So that'll all be just on beats that you found online. You were saying it won't be with the live band then, or for performances it will be
Uh,
with the live band. Is that the idea? Like the live band's just for the performances at this point?
at this point, yeah, and I kind of like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of like the separation of like Tariiq the artist, but then it's like if it's that's why I don't just say Tariiq live or just Tariiq. It's there's me, and then there's that project, which is a live experience for those who came out to the show.
Hell yeah.
And I kind of like that. Like all my favorite artists, um, that I've seen live were when they do something like that. You ever heard of Thievery Corporation?
No,
They're like
doesn't
a
ring a bell.
kind of dub trip hop duo,
Okay.
and they just make like really cool, trippy, like kind of ethnic down tempo music. And it's two guys, and it's samples and like trippy dub noises. When they play live, it's like a 15-piece band, and they circulate, and their live show is it is like it's not their music. Like it's such a higher level, and it makes you feel so special when you're at their show. You're just like,
Man, the
what the fuck am I watching?
every year at North Country Fair, they have, different bands up there with the full like horn sections going. And like, I never just sit at home and listen to ska music or whatever, but like live, that music is fucking undeniable, man. Like,
Yeah,
it just, you can't not move to 8 guys on stage playing various horns, to some dance rhythms or whatever. Like, yeah,
for real, man.
beautiful
Yeah,
stuff. But watching it this year, like there was did you catch the My Son the Hurricane set?
yeah.
Yeah, right. And like she's up there dropping bars, and then afterwards we got home and we're listening to some of it, and like she's not even their regular MC. Like their regular MC
I
is
know.
a
I had to check.
dude. She was just doing his bars or whatever, I think. So like,
Yeah, I noticed that actually. Yeah, that was interesting.
but that set made me think like, man, there's really something here where like, there's a new level to unlock for hip hop if you can get somebody up there emceeing with that type of energy from a band or whatever. And that's probably what you and the Golden Eyes are tapping into exactly.
And sometimes, man, sometimes in specifically in hip hop, like the live show is not as good as the song.
Yeah,
A lot of the time,
yeah,
even big artists. So you know who does it? Okay, excluding bands though. If you've ever seen Method Man and Redman,
yeah.
right? You listen to their songs, it's dope. Have you ever seen them live?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Their skits that they do, their little like tricks, their little mic trickery, and like
yeah.
that. Like you have like, you, there has to be a reason for you. Like this is not the same as listening to my songs. Like you have to come to this as a separate experience. So I
Hell yeah.
kind of like that idea. And I think you got to reward the people that actually come out and support live music. Like it's got to be its own thing.
Definitely,
Um,
man.
but to answer your question, no, I'm sure I'll get some licks from the group, especially on the. I want to make some like really cool interludes and stuff. Like I think that's what differentiates something from an EP to a project too is the ride, like the slow down part to recalibrate you
Yeah.
into like the hype track, like. So yeah,
Hell yeah, man. Song sequence is super important with a cohesive project.
for real, man.
I'm with you on that, man, for sure. So I only have a couple more questions that I wanted to make sure I asked you, dude. But I ask every artist I talk to, just open ended. Describe your local hip hop scene. What's the hip hop scene in Edmonton like from your perspective?
Um, I think it's alive. I think there's a lot of different types of artists. but it is quite fragmented, meaning it's a series of groups of friends or scenes, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, I'm gonna book this person, this person, this person. They're gonna bring their friends, and then that's the show. And I feel like if there isn't much of like like cohesive hip hop scene where it's like, oh, I come out to the hip hop shows.
Word.
It's like I come out to my friends' shows, and I don't know. Maybe there's just like there's a lot of artists, but there's no distinct sound. So that just is a natural thing that happens.
That was kind of what
But
I
yeah,
was
I think
talking about with like actually tapping into fan bases that really appreciate and enjoy, you know, hip hop and enjoy the music, right? Like it's one thing to be an artist and get your friends to come out because they don't have anything better to do that Saturday night and it's as good a party as anything else, right? Like they're going to come have fun and support, but they're not really into the music like that, right? Like uh, that's what I heard from what you were just saying there, that there's a lot of people that can bring their friends out, but those people might not also be checking for the other artists around town, or you know, they might
that,
not
but it
even
also
stay in the club to watch the other people on the bill, right? Like that's the worst
that
when
that is a thing, but I think it also just like let's say, right, Edmonton hip hop, hip hop is not even close to the biggest genre of music, right?
yeah.
So it's already a small scene, and when you have multiple scenes within it, it just thins it out.
Hell yeah.
So I think all of the shows are like not as big as they could be. It, but how do you change that? I think like maybe more third party bookings where it's like showcases of what's in Edmonton of the different styles,
Yeah.
more collaborations maybe.
Yeah.
But that's it. But
Both those
otherwise it's
things, man.
there, and independently there's some dope artists like and a lot of different people doing their own different things. So
Dude, just paying so much attention to scenes across the country, I think there's a strong argument to be made that Edmonton has like some of the most talented lyricists in the country. There's a real concentration of lyricists in Edmonton, and I don't know what that is. I think maybe it kind of partially spawned out of like how popular battle rap was there. There was a lot of emphasis on guys barring up in battle rap, and then that kind of whatever. I mean, it's still around, but faded a little bit more than it used to be, and now there's some of these guys who are stepping into the arena to make songs, but they're bringing that lyrical edge to it. And you know, like you said, there's several generations of guys. You know, there's the OGs like Self and Kaz Mega and these kind of guys still running around doing the thing, and then there's just like this whole new crop, whole new wave of artists coming up. Yeah, man, I think Edmonton's scene, from where I'm sitting at least, is full of a lot of talent out there. So yeah, good question how you bring it together though. That's that I mean,
like Vancouver, for example, they got their I don't know if you ever heard of Icon Hip Hop or their group.
yeah, yeah,
Like that is a scene. People come out to see Icon Hip Hop, not like, oh, my friend's rapping tonight, you know?
right. And they know
Those
that
guys.
whoever they're going to see there is going to be dope, right? Like
Yeah, like
yeah.
those guys work so hard, man. Like they put on this cipher, they like film everything for 3 hours with multiple cameras, chop it up and post it on YouTube within a week, and then clip it out on Instagram. So everybody gets their shine and it's like a sick party.
Dope.
Like it requires a bunch of people to come together and like put a lot of work into it. Edmonton has like 3 or 4 different ciphers.
Yeah.
And like it's not that big of a scene, you know? Especially within the cipher type rapping, like why do we have 3 or 4 ciphers? You know,
Have you
why is there
ever
not just one
check in
super cipher at the
at the
skate park?
freestyle ciphers? You ever go down to any of them?
Not really, dude. I used to go to Cypher Wild sometimes.
Yeah.
I find it's hard schedule wise, but I will. I
Nice,
will be
man.
making an effort.
Shouts
Often.
shouts to Thug Shells. She does a freestyle night as well and plays it on Twitch and everything. So if you ever get a chance to check out her night
Yeah,
too.
I've had
She's
a lot of people invite me to that one. So, and it's close to home.
Yeah,
So the next one, I'll make an effort for sure.
it seems pretty
Cause I
chill, but there's some decent lyricists at that one, you know, going off the top.
dope.
Yeah, man. Um, what else did I want to
I
ask
have a
you?
question for you.
Yeah, man, hit me.
I have a question for you. What do you think of this idea? So with this day and age of like kind of oversaturation and just like the importance of marketing,
Yeah.
like to what extent is just like undeniable quality enough? For example, let's say some random kid in Edmonton has like 100 followers and he just like comes out and is like, hey guys, here's my album. And it was like Kendrick Lamar quality.
Yeah.
Like it's like that good. Do you think if it was that good, it would just find its way into the world or no?
I think, man, honestly, I don't think talent plays a lot into who blows up and who doesn't. In from what I've seen watching the scene for whatever 20 years, like it seems to be more who grinds with the promotion side of things and more who has the contacts to get grants and more who has the contacts to get on big shows, and or not necessarily has the contacts but puts in the legwork to do those things. um, I don't think that there are a lot of booking that there are a lot of promotion companies booking people based on talent in Alberta specifically. I think people out here who are putting on shows don't really know what dope is, and that's why you end up with, you know, 5 artists opening. Anybody who signs up to sell 50 tickets is going to open or whatever, that type of a setup. I think that's pretty prevalent across Alberta. So no, I don't think that, like, dude, I think that I'd find it. I think if they had a feature from you, uh it would pop up on my Spotify because I follow you, or you know, a feature from any of the other people I follow, it would pop up on my Spotify. I'd listen to it. I'd be like, oh, this is dope as fuck, people need to hear this, and I'd put it on AdSick. uh it would get 50 plays on AdSick and, you know, however many streams it gets. But like, dude, convincing people to support good music is like I'm drawing a blank on how to do it, honestly. Like, I put in a lot of hours just trying to promote for people I think are dope across the scene, and like, you know, it's tough to get
So you
people to
honestly
listen, man.
think like let's like you think that somebody with like pretty mid or lower mid quality but like is a character and like pumps themselves out would eventually like in the long run see more success in that end than like some really small shy character that has like elite music.
Yeah, I think so for sure, man.
I
um
wonder about that because I'm like that assumes that people are kind of dumb,
I mean, if
like
we
the general populace.
it definitely does. I'm definitely a bit of a pessimist when it comes to talking
Just
about
yeah, it's
how
fair.
intelligent the population out there is, or not even necessarily intelligent, but they're just not tapped into what is or isn't dope. Um, Something that KRS-One talks about in the gospel of hip hop is like, if you co-sign each other in hip hop, the outsiders will believe you, right? Like, if people see someone who they perceive as being hip hop co-signing someone else, they'll believe that person because they don't really have that preference to know what is or isn't a well-written bar. A lot, like, most people aren't paying attention to lyrics like that, right? Especially people who aren't like hip hop heads, man. It takes a hip hop head to recognize good hip hop, I think, and they're few and far between. And a lot of them are like stuck in the like olden days. They don't want to listen to new music. It's tough, man. So that's like one reason that I make AtSick is like, no, there's still really all sorts of good hip hop that comes out. I just, you know, need to get people to listen to it to prove that it's out there or whatever, right? Like that's the whole struggle of this entire show. So eventually I decided like, well, fuck, I should be talking to artists and actually, you know, picking people's brains about this shit. So appreciate the question, man. That's exactly what this show is for, is brainstorming on that type of shit.
Yeah, man, that's it's super appreciated. Like people like yourself who do that, like that's it takes a lot of selflessness to do that. It's awesome, man. Thank you for that.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Dude, I have one more question to ask you, and then I'll let you race off to your homie's gig. I know I've kept you here longer than you probably anticipated, but this was the one
No
question I
worries,
told
man.
you to prep for, man. Put some light on some other Edmonton artists who you think are dope, who maybe people haven't heard of. If there's somebody watching from Winnipeg or Toronto or Montreal or whatever, and you know, they don't know anything about the Edmonton scene, who should they know?
Um, well, like Self is sick. Like more people should know what that is because when you dig up, like this guy's been. I found some shit on YouTube from like 12 years ago, and
Yeah,
people are commenting like, "Miss this guy" and stuff. I'm like, wow, this guy is like, he was really about it way back then. My homie Ejaz, young up and comer, doing his thing, but
nice, man.
he makes some really interesting music and like super super from the soul and experimental and like potent lyrics. Maybe not technical lyrics, but potent lyrics, which I think is really important and kind of overlooked too.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Um,
guys like Tupac weren't overly technical, but potent,
exactly, man,
potent. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Um, Chaba lives in Vancouver or Victoria or somewhere in that area now, but he's from Edmonton. He goes by Magic Boy now,
Okay.
and he's pretty cool. Graham, it's like
He was
GR4M.
featured on one of your new
Yeah,
ones there, right?
He
Yeah.
he's got bars too, man. And what blows me with him is like he's more of a singer, but he raps really good, and he's also like ESL. So it's like imagine like learning a language and then writing bars.
Yeah, that blows me away. Does he ever go like bilingual in the bars? I love it when guys can
Yeah, he
do that,
does.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is probably like when I was saying that stuff about like that random kid who puts out super quality music, like I was like low key thinking of him because he's got like a voice of an angel, great writer, but like just a humble character. And I'm like, dude, this guy's like super good
Nice. So
and
he
very
has music of his
underrated.
own on streaming right now that I can check out?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
he's
I
good.
will.
He makes some nice music, like soul singing and like some rapping and it's just quality, good quality, man.
Dope, man.
Um, oh man, there's more. There's more. Um, the homie Paul Golden Child, he's more on the beats,
Yeah.
finger drummer. That whole crew, like Creation, Brett, those guys are sweet. And then you know what, man? I'm gonna go to that cipher, and I guarantee I'm gonna find some. There's always these like sick artists I've never heard of that. Like I remember at Cipher, wow, some of like the indigenous artists. I'm just like, dude, you guys have shit to say, and you're so good.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's so much
what about
talent
you?
out there,
Is
man.
there anyone that I haven't said that I should look into in Alberta, let's say, or
Whew.
nearby?
In Alberta, are you up on LREV on Javier Escuela?
I haven't heard of
Okay, so
that. No.
he's a MC from Lethbridge here. Came out of the battle rap scene, used to do a bunch of like KOTD type stuff or whatever, but has kind of just evolved over the years into like a really gifted lyricist and well crafted actual songwriting or whatever. So Javier Escuela, I would give a shout to.
Yeah, send me that. I'll look him up.
Yeah, man.
Javier Escuela.
As well from Lethbridge here, there's a guy named Donnie Sage who's been putting out a lot of dope music lately. Um, you know, CX to the World is a guy based out of
He's
Edmonton.
cool. Yeah, he's cool.
I've been playing a lot of his stuff lately over the last
Juicy
few
Blue.
years.
Juicy, that reminded
Juicy
me.
Blue, I got him on tonight's
Juicy,
mix actually. I just posted a
he's
new
a bit of a
AdSick.
silent killer, that one.
He's on there, yeah, man.
I gotta shout out Arlo too, man.
Hell yeah.
Arlo Maverick, because not only has he been holding it down and making like good music for a while, like the guy that like he seems to always be helping out the scene. So
Yeah, man.
helping
See,
people with
when you were asking
advice,
about would the quiet guy with good music get on, I kind of thought of Arlo, and I was like, he might if he knew Arlo, but if not, then probably not. No, Arlo seems to be holding the key to some gates in Edmonton, I guess I would say. But yeah, shouts to Arlo. Arlo always drops good stuff. I should probably talk to him for Fly Information actually, just because he is so community minded and shit, man. But yeah, dude,
yeah,
I
I think he'd
appreciate
be
you
a good
doing
guy.
this, man.
For sure, man. Yeah.
Before I let you go though, like, do you have anything else you wanna that you wanna say, or anything to plug? Any shows or whatever projects coming up?
I'm gonna start rolling out the album here pretty soon. I got my first track dropping of the project in 2 weeks. So I'm probably gonna start promoting that shit right away once I like stop talking about all these live shows that I've done that were so awesome. Um, and then I'm gonna drop another single a couple weeks after that, and then maybe one more. But I might just do the Isaiah Rashad type rollout where you put out the project and then you like individually promote each song like for like months after.
Yeah, that's
They're all
smart, man.
gems.
A lot of people drop a project and then they're done promoting it a week later, and I think it's important that people keep pumping out some content for it, because it's always new to somebody, right? Like your main core fans might see it that first week, but yeah, there's a lot of people in the world who probably didn't see it, so it's always good to keep promoting for sure. Yeah, man. That's
So keep an eye out, bro. I think you're gonna fuck with it heavy, man, for real. I
yeah,
don't know
man.
if you've heard any. I don't think you've heard any of it yet. I'll send you some links to play it like a week out or something.
Word. Yeah, I mean, just before you joined the
That's
call here, I was playing, I think, Rainy Day. Is that going to be on the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
weird.
think that's actually the pre-master and stuff too. So did that one have drums in it?
I think it did. I don't honestly really remember. I was setting up other stuff as it played.
I think that's like an older version, but I got some Golden Eye flavor in that one actually.
Nice, man.
So, but yeah, that's the opener.
Oh, hey,
That's the opener.
bro, I got one more question. I'm sorry. There's always one more here. So, last question. What's the best way for people to support artists in 2023?
Uh, I would say merch and live shows
Yeah.
for financially, but at the same time, like uh shit, I don't know. Like I want to say stream, but like
Nobody gets
I don't
paid
know.
off streams. Nobody's making any money
I think
streams.
word of mouth, like build the brand up
Yeah.
or show your friends. People kind of hoard, and I'm guilty for this. People take pride in their music, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is my hidden gems." Like share your music with everyone.
Hell yeah.
Share it.
And even like,
I like this artist. I found him.
man, I find that people use social media all the time, but they don't use it to help signal boost artists that they like. You know, don't be afraid to hit that share on your artist's posts, because like it's free and it helps get the post in front of more people's eyes. So like that can really go a long ways. And I just, you know, you see people making posts on Facebook, myself included, and it gets like, you know, 6 likes or whatever. It doesn't really get out that far or whatever, but like it seems to be pretty prevalent that people are stingy with the like button. So I you know,
Yeah, I also feel
share
like
love.
People like don't assume that your support isn't needed.
Yeah.
Is another thing too. It's like, yeah, like you might be seeing my stuff. People would be like, "Oh man, you're doing your thing," da, 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 da. And I'm like, bro, like you commenting is still like a very meaningful interaction. Like,
Hell yeah.
don't underestimate your influence.
Even drop the fire emoji. There's a reason that, you know, other artists across the country drop fire emojis for each other, and it's just a signal boost. It just gets that shit. It tricks the algorithm to show it to more people. So, you know, I'll pop up dropping fire emojis all the time, man.
Is it specifically that emoji, really?
Well, no, not necessarily the fire emoji,
Okay,
but that's
in
just
general, yeah,
that's the
okay.
one you see most commonly, right? Like people pop in and just drop a couple of flames and whatever.
You know, I kind of hate that.
Dude,
I kind of hate it.
It feels fake doing it or whatever, but I'm telling you, man, like it's better than having a post with no engagement on it. That's for fucking sure.
Well, like, okay, I'll see like some artist that's like popping with like 150 fire emoji, like I don't know, Lil Baby or like some big artist like that.
Well, that guy doesn't need it. Yeah.
It'll be like a bunch of fire emojis or like hard or dope or that's that shit. But then like I see someone else with 30 or 40 and they're like well articulated comments like thank you so much. The song is amazing. Like
Yeah.
I know you put on Baker's Club. Like those guys don't have a big following, but each person that follows them supports them, and
Yeah.
that is way more meaningful. You
Hell
know what I
yeah,
mean?
man.
So
I
I
got
think like
Baker's Club hoodies and pants and hats and
I do
shit.
too. Yo, their
Yeah,
shit's
man.
dope, man.
Yeah, well, Raz
But
sewed it up himself, man. I saw a video of that man on a fucking sewing machine making those pants. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm buying that merch. This guy's working for it. But yeah,
dude, that
shouts to
guy's a
Baker's
hard
Club, man.
fucking worker, man. That guy's probably the hardest worker in hip hop in Canada.
Hell yeah, man, definitely. Yeah, he'd be high on the list if I had to name one for sure. Um, and it's all dope. All the music he's making is dope. But you know, I think he's exactly a good example of somebody who makes really good music, who like probably not many people in Edmonton are listening to. You know, like
Yeah.
um, so yeah. I think it's all we can do to shout each other's names from the rooftops and try to promote what's actually dope, because people will believe us. People will believe us. But
Yeah, man. I gotta run though, man.
hell yeah,
It was
man.
good chat. Really good chat.
Yeah, I really like talking to
And,
you, man.
yeah, hopefully we'll link up again and catch me live sometime and drop it up. Like if you're ever in Edmonton, like obviously hit me up. So
Hell yeah, I will, man. All right, thanks for talking, dude.
okay, man. Peace.
Peace. All right, so that was Fly in Formation with Tariiiq. Y'all should go listen to Tariiq's music. You spell his name with 3 I's, Tariiiq. And he's pretty prolific. He's always dropping new stuff. Like you heard him say there, it sounds like I got the scoop before he's really announced it on even his own social media, but he's got an album coming up called Spitomology. I look forward to hearing that. I hope you do as well. Thanks for coming through, and make sure you check out After the Smoke is Clear. That's the mix show where I play independent hip hop every week, and you can find that mixcloud.com/Doobyis. The archives for all of season 3 and all of season 2 are online now for free listening. You know, I never play stuff twice. I play new release hip hop every week, and I put in a lot of time and effort and money as well, trying to, you know, get all of the best hip hop in the country into one spot every week. So I appreciate people who are tapping in, and of course, I appreciate y'all for, you know, telling a friend. That's like Tariiq said, that feels like the best way to support artists in 2023 is point more people toward them. So that's what I'm trying to do here on After the Smoke is Clear and Fly in Formation. And I appreciate y'all coming by to chill.